You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
It wasn't convincing. At times it wasn't pretty. But the Miami Dolphins got the job done. An overtime win against the East Rutherford Paper Planes, aka the New York Jets, to keep the Dolphins just in the playoff hunt. To delve into all of that and more, I'm as always joined by Charlie Touche. Charlie, how are you?
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. Got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast, and official affiliates of Fanatics, where you could be a fanatic of your favorite franchise, as the victory visor makes an appearance. Miami Dolphins defeat the Paper Planes 32-26 in overtime and improve to 6-7 on the season. Kadeem, shout out to Same Old Dolphins podcast. They got this thing called Post Check. Where's your post at when that happens, Kadeem? When we're like, yo, we're about to lose to the Paper Planes and we're gonna get eliminated by the Paper Planes. You know what I'm saying? But instead we eliminate the Paper Planes. Where's your post after that?
After it's like after it's very I wasn't worried. It's all good. Like I knew we'd get it done. Like I wasn't worried. At the time, I'm like, really? Like, really? This is how it ends? And I said to 5 Yard Lee on the preview episode, I said it during the game yesterday. Anyone surprised that the Paper Planes at 3-9 could head to Miami and beat the Dolphins? I kind of feel like forgot very quickly what the Dolphins used to do to the Paper Planes, to the Patriots year in, year out, under Brady. We would have nothing to play for and just beat New England. Like, just because we could, just be like, hey, don't think you're sweeping us this year. Don't we're gonna ruin your season just because. We'll even talk about it later on because there's an anniversary of one of those victories. So yeah, at the time, I was like, really, this is how it ends. But after, I'm like, I was always confident we'd find a way to win. How about you?
Down 8 in the fourth quarter, bro. Now you have to come back, get a 2-point conversion, do all these things behind the 8 ball. But we couldn't pick a better time to have a game like this, Kadeem. Couldn't have picked a better time because now you almost losing this week locks you in for next week. Like, yo, we're not coming close to that ever happening ever again. So, again, when maybe it was 2 seasons ago, Tua threw an interception in preseason, and I'm like, I'm glad he got it out the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, preseason, let's go, like, lock in. You feel me?
Wasn't that like his first? Wasn't that after the concussion season? It was like his first throw in preseason. It was like, boom, interception. Everyone's like, really? But no, you were like, yeah, get out of the way. Get out of the way now. And then rest of the season, MVP race.
Yeah, so I like it. And we're talking about MVP race. Probably not an MVP candidate this year, but Tua stats since coming back from concussion, 15 touchdowns, 1 pick, 1,900 yards, 76% completion rating. What are we talking about here?
What do you mean? What are we talking about?
I don't know. I'm just saying dog playing lights out and this post-concussion.
Yeah, people are making jokes that the last concussion kind of reset Tua into Alabama Tua. But whatever it is, Tua's been a different man since his return from injury. And even though he hasn't won all the games, outside of the Packers game, you can make a legit argument that the Dolphins should have won all of those games. Before we delve further, I want to get to a quick comment from a video we done last week. I think it was last week. So John 055TO says, have to ask this, but it's not a question. He says, in the start of every episode, Kadeem asks, "How you doing, Charlie?" And Charlie always goes straight into the mantra without saying how he is. I would listen to his podcast for quite a while and thought Charlie was a recorded AI statement until I started watching on YouTube. And I think that might be the best comment we've ever got. Someone was like, Charlie is AI, because after the little intro, I go, Charlie, how you doing? You go, it's Go Time Dolphins, all that kind of stuff. It then got me thinking, for him to think you're AI and have this back and forth and all that kind of stuff, that's some advanced AI. That is advanced AI.
I'm not gonna lie, I really appreciate this comment. and the funny thing about it is Kadeem knows I'm gonna go into the intro. Like, he could set me up a little bit better than Charlie, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, can I get a pretty good, like a better assist or a little alley-oop so I could come in and throw down the intro? So this is on Kadeem for not setting me up better. However, I appreciate that comment. We appreciate that comment. And since you have like come over to our YouTube, please hit that like button. Please hit the subscribe. Everybody else listening, please subscribe. Please hit the like button. It really does a huge help for the podcast and for us approaching 4,000 subscribers.
100%. Shout out to Tim Cavo in the comment.
Hold up. I'm doing well, though. Let me answer the question. I'm doing well. I'm coming off of a little cold, but let me finally answer the 5-year-old question of Charlie, how you doing? I'm coming off a little cold. This is a little flu game right here, but I'm in the building. I appreciate y'all boys.
I read that comment and I did think, yeah, I need a new intro. I feel like something which allows us to get into the, it's Go Time Dolphins. Like I said, a bit better. So I think
how long have I been telling you you need a better intro?
I think there's obviously, I'm not gonna answer that. Same way you don't answer how you doing, Charlie. I'm not gonna answer that. And I think this off season that's gonna be, I might, like I said, trial some different intros, see which one lands, and it's like, yeah, that's the one. Tim Cavo says you need to ask how he is 3 times. Us men don't like talking feelings. But Tim also said on tour, he said he thought he let the team down. Maybe he has taken a hard look at himself and changed something about the way he goes about business. Kind of following on from that, what did you make of Mike McDaniel's game plan? Because there was no receptions. I don't think it was a target for Johnny Smith until overtime. And I felt like a lot of Dolphin fans were like, nah, this is it. Like, nearly losing to the paper planes is time to once again blow it all up. And that was a narrative during the game and kind of after as well. So yeah, what do you make of Mike McDaniel's game plan?
I think it's hard to not make this Go Time tour, like this podcast Go Time tour, and it's hard to like leave Tua out of the podcast. But really, like, he's just our quarterback. He's the quarterback of the team. So of course, the most important player of the team is going to get talked about probably more, right? So to that comment, Jonnu Smith, bro, had 3 receptions and a game-winning touchdown in overtime. All right. As I'm watching the game, I'm wondering whose idea was Jonnu Smith? Was it McDaniel or was it Greer? Someone has to get the credit. You feel me? And then if the GM gets all the blame, GM gets all the credit. But we also know that, coach has his hands in the in the food while they're cooking. Jonnu Smith is coming back to the Miami Dolphins next year. Miami Dolphins are going to be even better on offense next year too. And I hate that we have to talk like this because here we are 6-7 and we're not better than last year, right? So that comes full circle of what Tim just said about Tua saying all of this is his fault, right? So on Jonnu Smith, I thought this was a game where the McDaniel was gonna, you know what? I think the paper planes have prepared for Jonnu, so we're gonna do something different this week, and I would have been okay with that if it was successful. You know what I'm saying? Like, because halfway through the game, when it's not successful, you need to go back to what made y'all successful. You feel me? Like, okay, the game plan isn't working. We weren't gonna highlight Jonnu Smith. Let's switch it up. second half, Jonnu got to get some more targets. But that didn't happen. And he didn't get any. He got his first catch in like the last drive of the fourth quarter. Was
I
it
don't.
not?
No, I think his 3 catches came on the 2
Came in
screens,
overtime.
and then yeah, all 3
yeah,
catches.
all of them came in overtime, bro. So
He
all of them
had.
came outside of regulation. That's crazy.
So sorry, what I will say, he did have like 2 of the Dolphins went to that, the no look little screen, and Johnny dropped it. And it's like, yo, like, hey, what are we doing here? And again, that were like from the replay, looked like had Johnny caught that, it's a first down at the very minimum. But yeah, all of his receptions came in overtime.
By the way, that Jonnu Smith catch in overtime wasn't the smallest of windows, wasn't the largest of windows either, but it was like 4 paper plane players. It was 4 green jerseys. It was 4 green jerseys around, and I think there's a lot of people who have this comfort where it's like, oh, Tua's about to do this. Then there's a lot of people who's like, yo, I hope he don't throw a pick. You know what I'm saying? And then there's the middle of the pack people that are like, yo, just don't mess this up. You feel me? And bro, to put that ball, to throw that ball within four jerseys within 5 yards of it, I'm like, man, I'll take this any day. Any day. Like, and a win is a win. I know everybody's going to talk about the type of win we got, bro, but a win is a win, bro.
Yeah. Joe Levesque says, a win's a win. Defense played terrible. Tua did his job well. He adds, McDaniel should have tested the water early on. Shout out to Robert Ashton. He says, hi from Morocco, guys. Sorry, can't stay. Miss competition is on. He says, fire Greer, ? But who do you want to replace him? We'll watch you want to catch up tomorrow. We will get to Greer a bit later. And then Tim says, I think Miami expected the paper planes cornerback to play us differently without Sauce, so they allowed Hill and Waddle to have some space. It's funny, I was just watching the interim paper planes head coach talking about the offense that the Dolphins used against the paper planes, and he said he'd never seen anything like it. He was like, it was drop back foot, ball was out. He said they counted 12 screens that the Dolphins used against them, and he said we need to now look at how to defend the screens better and how to stop them, be it, play calling, personnel, all that kind of stuff. So again, I think so much of, and again, social media isn't a real place, but as the game's progressing and, quite a few red zone trips with no touchdowns, all that kind of stuff, so many 3rd and 1s, 3rd and goal on the goal line, you can't run it in. So many people are going, McDaniel's being figured out. The stuff that's been said for weeks, but I still feel like it's McDaniel and Tua adapting to what defenses are showing them. Hey, if you're going to sit in cover 2 all game, then we'll pass underneath. Like we don't need to go deep over and over again. We can kill you underneath, kill clock, and then the last few weeks they've been getting touchdowns. It didn't happen this week, but again, it's as we've said before. This is what I would call, to a degree, player football. The Dolphins need to find a run game and find it very quickly, but you managed to get a win. I just don't see. I can see why we're complaining, but not every day complain, people. Come on, what are we doing?
Shout out to Touche24 Malik Washington. The Dolphins go down 3 with 50 seconds left in the game. Have to have a field goal to tie it, which Jason Sanders is about to be invoked into this podcast. But Malik Washington, I can't say totally redeem yourself. You know what I'm saying? Touche24. I want him to be a dude. But 48-yard kickoff return puts us in like, yo, all you need is 20 yards to have a pretty good attempt at a field goal. I got something for you, Kadeem. While we're driving to get in the field goal range, we don't stall, but it's 3rd and 12. Waddle just comes down with this catch. It's 3rd and 12. Everybody's hurrying up. Instead of clocking it, and you know what? Let's get this field goal off. We go for it on 3rd and 12, no timeouts. An incomplete pass to Tyreek Hill probably could have been a touchdown. Like it was a play we see all the time from McDaniel. and it's incomplete. The ball wasn't where it needed to be, right? It looks like someone was off, and turns out Tyreek said he ran a couple wrong routes during the game, and Tua got down his neck for it. I don't think we even get that field goal if we catch that ball and we're stopped in the field of play. Like, I think there's a legit chance we try to run and we try to clock it and game's over. So I think that was like the best incompletion we could have had in that game. What do you make?
So Tim Carroll is correct in this assessment. He says maybe complaining is wrong, but still need to be critical after a win so we can get better. 100% agree with that. In my daily 5-yard league phone conversation, it's the way that play shaped up. I think there's a very real possibility that had Tyreek Hill caught that pass, he's gone, because it's kind of like the angle he's running. Like, the defender probably isn't going to catch him. However, I can also see a situation where if he does catch him or does tackle him, trying to get everyone to the line settled, you probably, like, it's going to be 1 second, like, max, if that makes sense. Like, it's either clock it at the 1 or you have no time, or the game is done. So yeah, it's interesting. I think just to expand on that as well, and this whole, is Tua clutch? Can Tua lead? Can Tua lead a game-winning drive? All that kind of stuff. I think you have, before halftime, no timeouts. Dolphins drive down the field, score a field goal. The field goal we just mentioned to tie the game, and then to go down the field and score a touchdown in overtime. I'm not going to say Tua has the clutch in, all that kind of stuff, but once again, it's, you've asked Tua to do something, and he's done it, and then the goalpost move. So everyone's like, yep, Tua's clutch, he can do all of this, and everyone's like, it's only the paper planes, can he do it next week against the Texans? It's like, of course, when he does it, we then talk about the opponents and stuff like that. So no, I think, to take it back to the Tyreek Hill play, I believe that if Tyreek Hill catches it, it's going for a touchdown. But I can also see, yeah, like you said, if he catches it and gets tackled, you probably don't have the time to score a field goal. So find out how those things work out.
How are we feeling about Jason Sanders right now?
That's how I feel about him. Just
well, we needed that Jeopardy music just now. Like, let me for real.
I think for quite a while we've kind of joked and said we trust him in that exact situation. A game on the line, field goal, he probably makes it. It's the chip shots during the game, that's the ones he's going to miss. And I find it very, very funny that that extra point miss comes after he's named the AFC Special Teams Player of the Month. It's like, hey, maybe we got our Jason Sanders back. And it's like, yeah, we do. We got the one that we can't depend on fully. But listen, when it mattered, he got the job done. That's what you can ask. That's what you can ask for. And I also think the extra point that he did miss on the snap wasn't the best, and that could be down to having another new long snapper. So I'm gonna again be positive and say Blake Ferguson, he makes that chipped extra point, which means the Dolphins don't need to go for 2, and I still think he makes the 52-yard field goal. What do you make of Jason Sanders?
I'm done. I can't do it. Get me off of this ride, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Like, yeah, special teams player of the month last year. Last week. I'm sorry. Last year, last month. My bad. Comes back, first kick is a miss. Listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. I can't ride this ride no more, bro. Like, roller coasters are fun. Roller coasters are a lot of fun. I'm not a roller coaster person per se. I was in Busch Gardens once. Shout out to Busch Gardens in Tampa, Florida. And roller coasters are like, and I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments if this is you too. I get on a roller coaster, Kadeem, and I'm like, all right, this looks pretty cool. This is gonna be fun. And then I get on it, and then as the ride goes up and it climbs and it starts. I'm like, this was not
Nah.
a good idea. This is not a good idea. You feel me? And then it starts and you're having a blast. Like, oh, this is fun. This is great. You know what I'm saying? And then in Busch Gardens, and I'm sure that a lot of theme parks that are like this, you get the option of, well, I'm not sure if a lot are like this, but you get the option of, do you want to sit in the first car? Like the first, you get to be in the first car, right? As opposed to just somewhere on the roller coaster where you're in line. Kadeem, all those rides that I went on in Busch Gardens where I was just, oh, this is a bad idea, but ended up being fun. We did them all again. And we was in the front. And that is a different experience in itself. And that is also a bad idea, but turns out to be a lot of fun. I don't want that for my kicker for my favorite football team. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no idea, absolutely no idea what I'm going to get from Jason Sanders when he gets on the field. I ain't even going to lie to you. Now, and I know it's not as bad as I'm making it seem, or maybe it is, but I want comfort when my kicker comes on the field and be like, we'll be all right. And once upon a time, I had that from Jason Sanders. I no longer have that. And am I alone in thinking he doesn't give me that comfort anymore?
Chris Beretta says first car for the win. Listen, I'm not a roller coaster person. The gracious Hannah Montana, that's the roller coaster person, not at all. I can see where you're coming from Jason Sanders, but I also feel like you probably feel the same around most of the kickers around the league. You can't even turn around and say that Justin Tucker's automatic. Justin Tucker has basically fallen off. And I feel that
all the time undefeated.
Yeah. And I feel like I look around the league, how many block kicks have I seen this season? How many missed extra points? How many missed field goals and stuff like that? You could bring, and again, it's, it goes back to the whole kickers and punters, should they wear numbers and stuff. But I kind of feel like it's better the devil you know. Like, you go and get someone else next season, and even say you go and get a rookie and say, hey, best kicker in the draft. You give up a 7 for him, cool, fair enough. I feel like there's no guarantee that the guy you get is going to be any better, if that makes sense. And I feel like I wasn't that nervous with the 52-yard field goal at the end, but I also feel like no matter who it is, unless you get prime Justin Tucker, a 52-yard field goal to tie the game probably should make you quite nervous, because that's the adrenaline of watching sports. Like, even if it's a Lionel Messi penalty in a big game, I still think there's nerves. And Messi is a really bad example because he misses quite a few penalties. But like, do you know what I mean though? I don't know there's many guys who are going to be automatic and across multiple sports in high pressure situations.
Game on the line, no timeouts left, running clock, 20 seconds in the game, 4th down, ball on the 30. No, ball on the 40. So we got a 52-yard field goal. Is he making it?
Yes.
I don't know, Kadeem.
Okay, so
I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know. I want that feeling that I had when we beat the Cowboys. Cue the Celine Dion song. It's good. It's cool. I don't know anymore, bro. I don't know, bro.
But again, I feel like off the top of our heads, when was the last time Jason Sanders missed a field goal? You're like, damn. Like, when's the last time he genuinely cost us a game? Where we can sit here and go, dude, you have like, again, the situation you just described, because you also said the Cowboys game where he was money. Yesterday, apart from a missed extra point, he was money. Like,
I think he's cost us games, but like not at the end of the game. This kick we lost. We missed the field goal as time elapsed and the game's over. I can't remember none of those, but I do think he's cost us games by missing during the games though.
But then that goes back to where he's missed during the game. but you've had other opportunities to score a touchdown or do something. So I understand like those 3 points or the extra point would have been helpful, but as I always say, like really, unless it's a end of the game you miss, really, does something happen in the first quarter mean you lost the game, if that makes sense? Because you've had 3 quarters or 2 quarters or even 10 minutes to make up for that deficit, if that makes sense.
All right. I don't think one play loses the game because it changes something. It definitely changes some things. So I don't think one play loses the game. But I think I could say cost us the game without saying it lost us the game. You know what I'm saying? I think I could say that. Like, it cost us the game. Like, so, and it's not just one kick. How many times has he missed multiple kicks in the game? And then, like, where was the ball when he kicked it? And you know what I'm saying? Like, I think we can say a kicker has cost you a game. I think that's fair. And you know, this is me being, you know, like, yo, one play don't lose you a game, doesn't lose you a game. I think I said kicker could cost us a game. Yeah, that's why they don't have numbers. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here for it. That's why they shouldn't have numbers.
I can't find that exact stat. He's missed 4 field goals this season, I believe it is. And I will try and find the exact stat. But yeah, as Tim Carroll says, lots of kickers having a shocker currently. Do you want to move? Do you mind if we move away from Jason Sanders? Talk about something different?
That's cool. Do you think?
A couple of weeks ago, and again, this is why I find Dolphins fans really funny. And again, opinions and stuff can change. A couple of weeks ago, when Mike McDaniel was on the hot seat, quote unquote, there were Dolphin fans saying, give the job to Anthony Weaver, make him the interim head coach, and if anything, you make him the head coach going forward. And then as the game progresses yesterday, some people believe that they're on the phone, they're typing all this kind of stuff, they're having conversations saying Anthony Weaver might get fired at the end of the season. And I'm just like, really? Now, again, the Dolphins defense was bad yesterday. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's a good unit, but do you think Anthony Weaver's going to get fired at the end of the season? Like, has he been that bad this season?
Who do you think's idea was to bring in Anthony Weaver? Do you think it was McDaniel or Greer? Do we know that for sure? Whose idea was?
As it stands, I don't think we do know. No.
Here's where I'm at with Weaver. The same way I was with Chan Gailey and Tua and what's your boy name? The quarterback for the Paper Planes that was trash.
That'd be Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson, right? I like being fair. I like having people, like being fair to people who are not assessed properly. For example, and I understand the majority of those people I just named probably should have went anyway. But Anthony Weaver doesn't have the D-line that he signed up for. Well, he actually has partial, like the D-line that he signed up for, knowing that he wasn't going to have a healthy D-line. Everyone says the game starts in the trenches and the most important part of the offense is the O-line. Everyone says the game starts in the trenches and the most important part of the defense is the D-line. Anthony Weaver doesn't have the D-line that is worth $300 million, right? Which, well, maybe, yeah, he doesn't have that. Bradley Chubb isn't playing. Jalen Phillips isn't playing. Chop Robinson's just not coming around. I think there's there's one more injury on the D-line. I can't remember off the top of my head. That being said, bro, I cannot assess this dude knowing he doesn't have what it needs to be successful. I can't do that fairly. On the other hand, I have turned the corner and said it might have been the defense while we're not as good as we need to be to. It is the defense while we're not as good as we need to be. Like, bro, all those arguments or debates that we had back and forth earlier in the season, Kadeem, I could revisit it and be like, look, yeah, defense came through a couple times for us, held the Rams to no touchdowns. I remember that, all that good stuff. Nah, bro, the defense is not it. They're not it, bro. And if we were a little bit better on defense, we would have a lot more success as a team.
I think yesterday was really interesting because, like, Jalen Ramsey got cooked. Garrett Wilson just had Jalen Ramsey looking like some really bad Dolphins corners. The regression from safety play that we've seen, which has kind of been one of the strong points of the team over the past few years. Safety play has been awful, and you get to have a situation where you make David Long a captain, and then he's cut a few weeks later, or a few months later, for being completely honest, and there's just no pass rush. But again, you are missing. Once again, you're missing Jalen Phillips out for the season. Friend of the podcast, Bradley Chubb, should be back in hopefully this week. It's interesting. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna say get rid of him after 1 year, and then you're looking at bringing in someone else in and trying to get a new scheme, and the guys you brought in this year, okay, they might not be like. I feel like there's too much chop and change on both sides of the ball. So yeah, Weaver, again, in typical Miami Dolphins fashion, kind of his unit found a way to get a stop when it mattered, but probably should have got some of those stops earlier. Like, it's 4th down and Garrett Wilson cooks Jalen Ramsey off the line of scrimmage. It's 3rd down, you're giving up penalties. It's third and long, and guys are wide open in the back, downfield and stuff like that. It's been sloppy. And I also think, and I made the joke yesterday, this whole Dolphins can't tackle in cold weather and all that kind of stuff. No, the Dolphins just can't tackle, full stop. But I don't think that's a Weaver issue. I think that's been an issue for most of the time I've been a Dolphins fan, and that's like going on 10 years now. For whatever reason, for whatever reasons, Dolphin defenders cannot tackle, and it is probably the most infuriating thing about this team. I don't know what the fix is, but unless Coach Weaver's telling these guys to not tackle, what do you do? Like, as a coordinator, how do you get around your team on the field not doing the basics?
So here's my thing. I don't know what to do with Weaver. I don't. And I don't know how we can assess him properly. But my fix would be this. I didn't think Robert Saleh got fired. Like, it was his firing was justified. I didn't think Robert Saleh was the problem in East Rutherford. You feel me? I don't think he was a problem for the Paper Planes. I don't know whose idea it was to bring in Anthony Weaver, and not saying he's not a good DC, but if there's a way to bring in Saleh to Miami next year and keep Weaver and make it like, hey, your replacement is in the building. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what we do. Now, obviously, Saleh might get picked up by somebody else. Say, hey, we want you to be our DC. He's going to take that. So I don't know if we're going to be in a position where we have to make a decision on, do we bring in Saleh or do we keep Weaver? But if we can entertain moonlighting with Saleh while we still have Weaver, this is the only situation where I think we do it. Not sure that I answer your question, but if you had to make a decision to bring in Saleh next year to replace Weaver, or to keep Weaver, what would your answer be?
Well, it's funny you say that. I promise I will answer the question, but it's funny you say that because me and 5 Yard Lee had this conversation. It might have been on the podcast. It might have been on our conversation after. But Saleh obviously gets fired, and he's now in Green Bay as like a consultant or whatever. And I do wonder if, Saleh gets fired, Mike McDaniel messaged saying, hey, sorry to hear that. Hope you're all well. I do wonder if the conversation came up like, hey, do you want to, while you're out of work, come and do some consultancy or do X, Y, and Z in the building? And I wonder if that conversation didn't happen, was it a case of the Dolphins being respectful to Anthony Weaver and going, hey, the last thing we want to do is kind of undermine you by bringing in someone who you might feel is going to take your job. But then I also kind of feel like that's the worst thing you can do, because people have accused the Dolphins of doing that at the backup quarterback position, which is, don't bring in someone who can push to or bring in someone who, is a clear backup. And again, I'm not saying this happened, but I wouldn't want the Dolphins to not improve the defensive staff because it might upset Coach Weaver. Like, no, that shouldn't be the case. So to answer your question, yeah, if you can get Salah in the building, regardless of how you do it, yeah, I think so. And I think, when there was, it might just be social media talk. When there was social media talk of Anthony Weaver being up for head coaching roles in the offseason, my first thought was, hey, great, good luck. Now go and get Salah. Like the moment he not even the moment, the moment he starts taking interviews, I'm calling Salah and saying, hey, once he says yes, you're coming in the building. Like, forget any other team.
I'm gonna respond to what you just said, but I have to take a break for a second. Plug us in with Fantasy Game Day app, and I'll come in and I'll respond to what you just said.
So as we head down the closing stretch of this season, there's still time, because there's always time, to head on over to the Fantasy Game Day app. That's in the UK only, now that DraftKings is no longer in the UK market. But Fantasy Game Day app, use code GTDFF for free second entry. Again, that is Fantasy Game Day app for free second entry. There are so many games currently available on the Fantasy Game Day app. As I'm talking, I will take a look myself because I have the app on my phone. That is Hannah Montana in the background. My wife, not the character. So yeah, Fantasy Game Day app. Tonight you can enter the Ballers Dallas v Cincinnati £100 boost. Currently 54 entries. Prize pool of 229 and counting. But also there's been so many games this weekend, so many entries as well, opportunities to win money. So again, Fantasy Game Day app, code GTDFF for free second entry. Chris Barrella said earlier, Washington fumble against the Packers, really felt like we lost as soon as it happened. I think what I will say about that is that more a issue with the Dolphins in general, which is not being able to overcome adversity for the most part. It kind of feels like when the Dolphins, something goes against them, like a fumble or interception, it's kind of like they aren't able to, get their head back into the game. So we'll see about that. And we will do fantasy a bit later on as Charlie returns.
So yeah, real quick about that Washington fumbling early and not overcoming adversity. We kind of touched on it during the review, which was the game script went out the window and then you quickly down 14 and then you had to switch things up. So, but it was his initial fumble that was the playing Jenga, and you pull that piece and everything came down. So real quick, Kadeem, there's a difference between trying to hire a coach while you have a coach. You know what I'm saying? A head coach. There's a difference between trying to hire a head coach while you still have a coach. Super disrespectful. However, the Steelers brought in former Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores and made him a linebacker coach. And I think when you're talking about assistant coaches, knowing that you can move on to get a different role for Anthony Weaver, he can move on to go become a head coach somewhere else, or he could take the same job somewhere else. Knowing that assistants are easily accessible, I think it works for you in the other way as well. Like, hey, Salah, you could come in and be some type of assistant coach. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, there is a little wink, like, hey, Anthony, we already got your replacement now. You know what I'm saying? Now you can it's a wink, but it's not as disrespectful as actually moonlighting with a head coach.
I think, yeah, like the thing that makes it, and the Flores example is a good example in terms of also a good comparison, is that, Charlie, your job right now, yeah, what you do. Say you've got a guy who works for you, he does a job. I can do the job as well. And one day, Monday morning, turn up at work and say, hey, everyone, Kadeem's coming in. Just going to, help us out for a few things. People will be like, he's going to get a job soon. We don't know when, but he's going to get a job soon. He's Charlie's friend. He's the boss's friend. And I feel like if Salah wasn't so closely linked and tied to Mike McDaniel, I don't think anyone would bat an eyelid. It'd be like, okay, cool. The Dolphins want to improve, and I'm bringing in someone else who can improve. But I think, like Salah gets any job in the Dolphins building, everyone's going to be like, yeah, he's going to be a DC soon in Miami. Like, unless someone comes and gets him, and I think that's a difficult. It's a difficult line to tread, but again, in the nicest way possible, don't let someone's feelings prevent you from winning the Super Bowl. Like, hey, we all win together.
We're not playing the game of friendships or feelings. We're playing a game of football. And just like every other position, if Derek Carr is the backup quarterback next year for the Miami Dolphins, Tua has some pressure on him. Same way any other position works in the NFL, like on the team. If another assistant coach comes in that used to be a head coach and his specialty is defense, well, guess what, Weaver? You got some pressure on you. And that's fair. And that's how you improve. Competition breeds results. And I'm okay with that. I don't think it's disrespectful whatsoever. But I don't think you answered my question, Kadeem. I just need an answer like this one or that one. You have the floor. We don't go to the Super Bowl this year. Salah is available. Do you stay with Weaver and let him prove himself with the actual D-line that he signed up for? Or do you say, I'm sorry, man, I got to take this opportunity because Salah is available and go with Salah?
I am sticking with Weaver. I'm taking with Weaver, and I'm going, you know what? Consistency. And yeah, again, it's Salah's great, but no, I'm sticking with Weaver. I'm not going to explain it. It's a short answer, sticking with Weaver.
It's not easy, actually. So I understand where you're hung up at, but it's not easy. Even for me, who presented the question, I'll answer it myself. I'm going with Salah. Weaver is an awesome human being, by the way. Super incredible human. But I'm going with Salah because I've seen him do pretty good things with less than what Weaver has right now, although Weaver doesn't have the D-line. So, and all of this, by the way, we don't even know how, well, actually we kind of do. I was going to say, we don't even know how good the McDaniel-Salah relationship is. It's actually pretty good. But at the same time, we don't know if McDaniel would really want that in the building. Like, yo, we're good. We're great. We're homies, but I don't want you on my staff. So that's just us having a podcast and having the luxury of just creating stuff.
I agree. And also, like, not even taking a mic. McDaniel might know what's happening in the building because, like, hey, you ain't taking my job. I'm not bringing you to the building. I'm not giving you the keys to the building early. Like, no. Like, if you're going to take my job, let it be because I've got it and they bring you in. I'm not having you in the building where you can be an interim head coach and then all of a sudden you get my job. Like, so
super fair.
Something we didn't discuss as well.
Super fair. So someone brought up fantasy football. You want to get into that?
Yeah. Tim Cavo says you won/win in your fantasy game this week, Cads. I feel like this week is an odd week because I feel like my opponent made a boo-boo. Yeah, he 100% did make a boo-boo. He didn't take out George.
Hey, Kadeem already in daddy mode. I know he already got one. He already got a kid, but Kadeem ready for daddy mode, boy, making a boo-boo. Look at this man.
It says I have so I'm currently winning 92-76. But it says here it is. A couple of weeks ago, I said to you, if you're winning a game and you've got one person left to play for you, do you take them out to win the game, or do you keep them in knowing they might get minus points when you lose? And what did you say?
I will take them out and ensure my victory.
So my opponent has no more people to play, and I've got T. Higgins to play, but I'm winning by what? 18 or I'm winning basically. So do I take T. Higgins out just in case he has an absolute stinker, or do I just leave it?
He has nobody left to play,
Nobody left to play.
and you're up 18.
I believe so. Yeah, it's
And you
92-76.
only have T. Higgins left.
Yep.
So no defense, no kicker.
No defense, no kicker.
You already won that. And if you lose this, Kadeem, if T. Higgins comes out and has 9 rushes for 9 fumbles, and you lose this game, you can holler at me on Go Time Dolphins, and I'll be like, my bad, defense. My bad, Kadeem. I blew that. You know what I'm saying? I did not see that. You feel me? But you don't have to worry about T. Higgins losing this week for you. Also, I think it's the last week before the playoffs for your league, right?
Yeah. So
you might need those points for tiebreakers. I don't know if you're even in playoff contention.
Oh no, I am. So the standings currently are: I am 4th. Myself and Stranger for Danger are tied for 7 and 6. So with this win, I'll be 8 and 6, and Stranger for Danger is. Bear me 2 secs as I work around this. I'm not good at some marketing. Really not good. Matchup. How do I check other matchups on the thing?
Go to matchup and then scroll right or scroll left. And you see
okay, cool. Yeah. And I'm looking for a Stranger for Danger. Yeah, Stranger for Danger. He's won his game as well. So, but then I also think, and yeah, looking at the person he played, he kept in Christian McCaffrey. So yeah, he was always going to win that game basically.
Oh, so what you're saying is the person that he played can't play in the Go Time Dolphins League next year because he kept a ineligible player in this week. I'm telling you, bro, stuff like that messes up a whole league and hands away playoff seeds. So over in our league, I got Sherrod Steve. We're in the first week of the playoffs. I got Sherrod Steve. I am up 139 to 123. And the other semifinal game is Flipper Main Mick is up 112 against the average white guy to 89. Kadeem, I was in four leagues this year. I'm out of playoff contention in one. The other is Go Time Dolphins, where I just told you what's going on. And the last 2, I played Zach Charbonnet, and he spanked me, bro. No diddy. Like, bro, it is bad. Anybody who played against Zach Charbonnet, Addison, or Josh Allen lost. You lost. That's it. It's over with, except for one league that I know where the dude had Josh Allen, still didn't win. That's crazy. And the only reason he didn't win is because the other team had Addison and Zach Charbonnet. It's crazy. So that's what we're looking at. I'm hoping I can secure a victory or just, it's a playoff week. So I could get a good enough lead over Sherrod Steve because we play each other again next week. I had the opportunity to drop Anthony Richardson and pick up Brandon Cooks so Sherrod Steve couldn't pick him up. But I didn't want to let go of Anthony Richardson, and I think I'm going to start him next week. So we're going to see what happens. Keep you guys posted on the Go Time Dolphins Fantasy Football Playoffs.
What did you say about people not setting their lineup and it costing people in the playoffs?
Yeah. I mean, no, that's not cool. That's like the worst fantasy football sin there is to not set your lineup and then hand other people playoffs positions.
I'm going to miss out on the playoffs because Stranger for Danger beat 2 in the pink. That's why I'm going to miss out on the playoffs.
So 2 in the pink didn't start somebody?
Yeah, he's got Christian McCaffrey. He's starting Christian McCaffrey.
I'm just saying.
Because of that, I'm going to miss out on the... Because the Ravens didn't play this week either, did they?
Yeah, Ravens didn't play this week.
Yeah, he's got Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers starting and Washington as a defense.
Hey, shout out to everybody in the Vets League who respectfully still sets their lineup and they understand like the magnitude of being in last place or second to last place or just to have that dreadful E next to your name and it says eliminated, and you're still picking up players on the waiver wire. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate you in Go Time Dolphins fantasy football leagues. And unfortunately, in the beginners league, you're still beginners and don't understand the magnitude. And now someone is eliminated from the playoff contention. That's unfortunate. But yeah, we're gonna have much conversation next year and next season when we have relegation in our leagues, Kadeem, and also a fantasy football segment on Patreon for our patrons.
100%. Tim Carroll says, winning both games, all my players played. Others have like kickers and D's to play, should have 2 dubs. Well done, Tim Carroll. Anything else, Charlie, before we hit the bonus time?
But we got some Patreon content too. We got game balls coming up. We got extra point coming up. And the debut of the playoff picture over on Patreon for all of our patrons. So we got some more segments coming up for all of our Patreons. Before we get up out of here, please subscribe to this channel. We rock with y'all, but y'all know what time it is. Stay positive. Test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time.
Charlie, quick question for you.
What you got?
It's a difficult question, but I'll ask it regardless. What would you do in 8 years ago today?
Oh, we should have did this on the other side of bonus time. We should have did this on the other side of bonus time. I was in my living room with no shirt on and my pajamas with my feet up on my ottoman in disappointment. And my brother was at a football game. I'm like, dang, my brother was at this football game. But he left early in the game. I'm like, dang, bro, you left early? You left early? What were you doing 8 years ago on this day, Kadeem?
I was in my bedroom. It would have been about 5/10 past 9. So I'm living with my parents still. And I am on my bed watching a game of football going. Yeah, to be expected. Another defeat, but is what it is. Dolphins got the ball back with basically no time, 1 play left. You might as well just, take a knee and take the L. Is what it is.
Can you pull up the picture, Kadeem?
Of course. And Tim Carroll says, no shirt and feet on the ottoman, how the other half live. So let's share the screen. Window. I should have done that first. I'll talk to myself. I'm doing things all backwards, so apologies for that. If you aren't watching on YouTube, I don't know why not watching on YouTube. It is amazing over here. But Charlie, tell everyone who isn't watching on YouTube what is on the screen.
Shout out to this epic picture. When you see this picture, Kadeem, it just puts a smile on my face. There are certain things in Miami sports history where it's like, nah, bro, this is forever. There's pictures that's going to be in my man cave. The Ray Allen Game 6 shot is one of them. This is another one of them. And we're just going to play the audio while we keep this picture up.
7 seconds left. Tannehill will throw it. And this will end it after the shovel, or will it? Miami running around, circling. Oh, look out. Gronkowski didn't have the ankle. Touchdown. Oh, Kenyon Drake. A miracle.
Kadeem, bro. Like, even the call of certain games are forever. You know what I'm saying? And this will end it after the pitch, or will it? You know what I'm saying? Gronkowski didn't have the angle. Come on, bro. Listen, I just got chills. That game, that game was the reason the Patriots went to Denver instead of Denver going to the Patriots, and the Patriots ended up being eliminated from playoff contention. But go ahead.
Shout out to Keith. He says, joining late tonight. Good evening, gents. The Miami Miracle was a great time to join. Hopefully, Keith, I will be seeing you on Wednesday in London for a pint or two. And yeah, I think, I mentioned it earlier about the Dolphins just beating the Patriots just because they could. Like, the Dolphins had nothing to play for apart from personal pride, and they won. Like, and again, I get it. It's annoying that the paper planes stuck around for as long as they did. But to be angry at the way that game played out, I feel like so many Dolphin fans forget games like this. Just random Dolphin games where the Dolphins beat the Patriots for the sake of it. As we say, just for bants. Like, I really feel like, and not to make it, back to Tua, it shouldn't be scoffed at that Tua is undefeated against the Patriots and the paper planes. Like, to me, that is I think he's now 12-0. That is an amazing stat. Like, seriously, I don't know how many games Patrick Mahomes would have gone undefeated against his division rivals, but 12-0, respect it and just appreciate that we are watching something which doesn't happen too often.
Something that goes overlooked in the Miami Miracle, bro. And I hate that it goes overlooked so much. And I might overlook it in a way because I think this is the person who did it. And I might give the wrong person the credit, but Ted Karras sprung the block for Kenyon Drake to get loose. And you get the initial pass to Kenny Stills. Stills pitches it to Devontae Parker. Parker pitches it to Kenyon Drake. And all the while, the O-line is sprinting downfield. Who says the 40-yard dash for O-linemen don't matter? Because Ted Karras got to the apex of the play, sprung the block, Kenyon Drake gets loose, and that's when Gronkowski didn't have the angle.
So I'm watching it back. It is number 62, and I think it's is it Larson?
Is it Larson? I said Ted Karras.
Yeah, it's 62, and yeah, he blocks. Yeah, so you got the pitch to Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake cuts in field, and then Amendola goes to block 23, doesn't, and then Larson 62 is like,
Bro,
hey, yeah, and then
that play, that part of the play goes so overlooked, bro. I wish I got his name right. My bad. Maybe we just get him on the podcast and apologize.
100%. And again, the Dolphins are 6-6. The Patriots are 9-3. You have nothing to play for. Your season is done. But the reaction of every single Miami Dolphins player shows you why teams will never try and lose a game on purpose. Like, never.
Kadeem.
Because, yeah.
Yeah, I remember Tannehill falling on the ground, just with his hands out, like in disbelief. Bobby McCain running onto the field. Isaac Asiata giving his hat away to the person in the stands. Listen, Kenyon Drake threw that ball in the crowd.
Yeah, stupid.
And then in the same week, he was on social media, probably urged by the Dolphins to get the ball back. Hey, Kenyon Drake, we need you to do this. We need you to make this post. Tell them you're going to give away your game gloves, your game cleats, and 2 tickets. Would you have given? Would you have
just about to ask you that?
Would you have given the Miracle in Miami game ball, the ball that scored a touchdown, back to the Miami Dolphins organization for Kenyon Drake's game-worn gloves in that game, his game-worn cleats in that game, and 2 tickets?
100% no. 2 tickets. Is that all I get? You best give me 2 season tickets for life. That's what I want. 2 season tickets for life. And I'm sitting behind the Miami Dolphins. I'm sitting so close to the Miami Dolphins that it looks like the Miami Dolphins bench, that it looks like I'm on the bench with them. 2 tickets. And also just sign cleats and gloves. No, I want your jersey. I want your briefs. I want like
the whole kit. I want the
whole-
Miracle Miami kit on my wall in like different frames. Like there's a frame for the top jersey, there's a frame for the pants, and then there's a frame with one glove in it, and a frame on the other side with one glove in it. Like the whole kit. I might need your helmet too, Holmes. Or if not your helmet, I might need my own helmet for real.
Yeah, like there's zero chance. That's what like nah. It's not enough. It can't be enough.
I'm trying to tell you, don't ever let me come up with one of these game balls, bro. Like oh, the Brady last touchdown ball, and or the this ball or the that ball. Like if there's a ball that's worth y'all getting back, that means it's a ball worth me getting paid for it. I'm just saying. And I'll take all the other conversation y'all was talking about too.
Yeah. No. Listen, if that happens today, say you got the Johnny Smith. Actually, no, the Johnny Smith one. I'm trying to think.
I don't know you get compensation for Johnny Smith balls.
Yeah, I'm saying. Another thing, like, wasn't his first touchdown for the Dolphins the one that he threw up into the crowd?
I don't want to exploit a player. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, Johnny Smith, I need $10,000. I don't want to do that to a player.
Okay, Jalen, you get Jalen Wright's first touchdown ball, which is a significant ball.
It's still Jalen Wright's first touchdown, but like if it's look, I'm glad there's levels to this. I'm glad we can break down the levels too. If it's Jalen Wright's first touchdown, I'm giving back the ball to Jalen Wright, getting a picture from him, getting the autograph, gloves and cleats. Probably that's about it. I'm not asking for financial compensation. Go ahead.
He's not coming on the show.
Oh yeah, he's coming on the show too. Like, bro. Matter of fact, you gotta,
That's what I'm saying.
No, I get it. I like it. I see where you at now. See, Kadeem, you finally got here because me and you, we had to have multiple conversations. Like, come on, Kadeem, like it's for the team. You feel me? So listen, I like it, bro.
I'm like we're doing a live podcast. You're sitting next to me, so I can give you the game ball. Like that's how it's going down. Like he's sitting here. He's sitting. Give me 2 seconds. I don't want to long. Hold on. What you're seeing is like this is Jalen Wright. This is Jalen Wright with the helmet, and like the ball over there. This the game ball. We're doing this, taking a photo, and then doing a podcast. And he's sitting there the whole time. 100%.
No doubt about it, Kadeem. Hey, you right about that, bro. So yeah. Like if it's a player, I'm not killing them over the head for no type of money. But join us on the podcast type stuff, and having them on the podcast to present it to them, that's brilliant, Kadeem. That's brilliant.
100%.
But nah, if it's some franchise stuff like Dan Marino record breaking something ball, ain't no way. Hey, I'm gonna be set.
100%. Again, you might as well make me the GM of the team. Like I'm coming out with so much stuff. I'm basically be either a part owner or the GM. I'm getting the job out of it.
Hey, I might need a draft pick from 2 Shades 24. Like, hey, I gotta pick the 7th pick in the draft. Like, and I gotta be at the draft to announce our pick. I'm 100%. Just saying, bro.
And then I'm also in like when he signs his contract, I'm sitting next to him. Just again, I'm everywhere. You're gonna see my face everywhere. The most annoying thing in the whole entire world. You'll see my face, 100%.
I need an interview for to be a scout for the Miami Dolphins. That's what I need. Like a real one too. Don't hit me up with none of these fake ones. I need a real interview. Sit down. I need all that.
Keith said, I would also want Gronk's helmet with the grass stains from where he fell down and pretend to tackle. No, I want all of it. I want all of it. And then Tim Carroll said, not sure if on the Johnny Smith thing, not sure if he threw it up and his son caught it or it landed really close. Someone gave it to him. No, it was literally he throws it up in the air and it lands like in his son's lap, basically.
Crazy.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Charlie, anything else before we get into Patreon stuff?
Nah, man. I'm just thinking about all the stuff I'm gonna ask for if I ever get a game ball that needs to be returned to the organization.
Yeah, it's we would get that first. It's not even the first because he was on the Time Equal podcast. 2 is on a podcast, whether he likes it or not.
You know, that's it right there. That's it right there. Dolphins go to the Super Bowl, AFC Championship game. 7 touchdowns for Tua. You know what I'm saying? 7 breaks a record, throws it into the crowd. I catch it. We're going to the Super Bowl, 7 touchdowns. This ball is going to Canton, by the way. Like, this is the NFL coming at me now. Like, this is not even the Dolphins coming for us. You know what, Miami Dolphins? We might have to be a part of the official podcast network and be partners with the Dolphin UK podcast too. Like we're going to have to work it out.
100%. Charlie, chucking the victory advisor as we head on out of here. Guys, if you're feeling generous, head on over to Patreon as we do game balls, extra point, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Until then, we shall see you soon. Peace.